The countdown is on to the Mariners opening day at T-Mobile Park. And right now, the M's are getting down to business at spring training in Peoria, Arizona. And that is where we find Aaron Goldsmith, a familiar voice to Mariners fans. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I said Aaron, but many of us know you as Goldie, and we are excited to talk about what's happening down there this year. Is this the year the Mariners end the drought in playoffs?
Yeah, that's certainly what many of all of us are hoping for, to say the least. Last year was such a successful season in so many ways for the Mariners. All Mariners fans remember, especially the final series of the season where T-Mobile Park was packed, which is kind of what everybody dreams of, and really competitive baseball till the final game 162. But it's been a busy offseason for the Mariners. There are a lot of new faces here in Peoria. Some impactful players have been added to the roster by Jerry DePoto and his staff in the front office. So certainly that's the hope, that this is the year that some of those pieces start to really come together for the M's.
All right, well, let's talk about some of those new faces. Who's catching the eyes?
Well, one of the biggest headlining names, additions to the Mariners this year is Robbie Ray. He won the Cy Young Award, given to the best pitcher in the American League last season. He pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he signed a very lucrative 5-year deal to come to Seattle and help to headline this rotation for the Mariners alongside guys like Marco Gonzalez and Logan Gilbert and a number of other players as well. So Robbie Ray is certainly one of them, who comes to town with some notable hardware in hand and a great reputation as a strikeout artist. He led the majors in strikeouts a season ago. But then there's some additions on the offensive side, which is an area of the game that the Mariners really wanted to boost going into this season. The Mariners added a second baseman named Adam Frazier, who has a great ability to get on base, which is such a required skill to score runs after all. He's a second baseman, but he can play all over the field. He can play some outfield as well. And then actually not all that long ago, the Mariners made a trade with the Cincinnati Reds, and they acquired truly one of the best hitting outfielders in the majors, and that's left fielder Jesse Winker. He started the All-Star game last year in left field for the Cincinnati Reds. So he comes over to the American League. He was drafted and developed by the Reds, so this is something new for him. He's in a new clubhouse with some new faces for the first time in his young career, but he's really reaching the prime of his playing days. So Jesse Winker's a big-time bat that the Mariners are very fortunate to have. And in that trade also, the Mariners acquired a fun name to say, Eugenio Suarez. Some people might have seen photos of his hair already, which is half platinum and half black. It's kind of a Cruella de Vil style, which is caught on quickly here in Peoria. But he'll be at third base. It'll be the first time in a long time, of course, the Mariners fans have seen somebody other than number 15, Kyle Seager, at third base. So those are some of the additions. There have been others as well, but those are some of the most notable additions for the Mariners this offseason.
A lot of interesting storylines down there anymore.
Well, the biggest name and the biggest storyline for sure around camp is a guy that we've been hearing about for a long time, and maybe some Mariners players saw him in the Futures game last year during the All-Star weekend, and that is Julio Rodriguez. He's one of the very top prospects in baseball. The Mariners have the top farm system in baseball, and he is part of the reason why. He's an outfielder. He's incredibly young. He's just barely over 20 years old. And Julio Rodriguez last year played in the Olympics for his native country, the Dominican Republic. He played at 2 different levels of the Mariners organization. He played at high A and double A in addition to the Futures game. So he was a man on the move last year. But Julio is considered one of the brightest young talents in all of professional baseball. And I don't think that there's a real question as to whether or not we will see him in Seattle this year. The question is, will we see him in Seattle for the home opener on April 15th at T-Mobile Park, and even before that for opening day, just a week before that in Minnesota against the Twins. And spring training results are hard to kind of judge sometimes because it's a different environment. It's a different atmosphere, literally and figuratively, here in Peoria. So it's, when he hits a 500-foot home run, I know that Mariners executives in the front office aren't exactly looking at the results, but more the process. But whether you look at one or the other or both, he's doing everything right so far here in Arizona.
I mean, I got to say, you're getting me really pumped up. Do you feel like that excitement from last season is going to carry over to this season? We only got about 30 seconds, but I'm hoping you're feeling that too.
I mean, it certainly does. I think the onus is on what happens on the field, however. If the Mariners start winning games right away, then you'll feel it even more. So I think that momentum, it's kind of like your momentum in baseball is as good as your next day's starting pitcher. So the Mariners will obviously want to be competitive this year. They expect to do so, and hopefully that means a good April's coming.
All right. Thank you so much, Aaron Goldsmith. Goldie, keep up the good work down there. We're going to hopefully check in with you again soon.
Great talking Mariners with you. Thank you.